My name is Constance Swain, and I played Olivia at the American Shakespeare Center.
My name is Meg Rodgers, and I played Olivia in the 2017 production of Twelfth Night with Houston Shakespeare Festival.
So, the American Shakespeare Center is home to the Blackfriars Playhouse, which is the world's only recreation of Shakespeare's indoor playing space.
Miller's stage is huge. It is so big. When I first saw it, I had never been or seen a space that large before. It has a couple hundred seats in the front, and beyond that extends this big, beautiful hill that looks out over Herman Park in Houston, Texas.
The space is so cool. It's a thrust stage. It's incredibly intimate. The audience is a lot of times just an arm's length away. And when I look someone in the face, especially as Olivia, I could really see their eyes and they could see my eyes and they knew I was talking to them.
And thousands of people will come and sit on that hill and bring blankets and chairs and bring food and wine and sit and watch shows for free, which is really cool. And the stage itself is so much wider and so much deeper than your typical stage that filling it is a task.
So that makes that experience in that space incredibly special and different and very unique from a lot of other theaters where you have a much larger space and the audience isn't as close. It's one of my favorite spaces.
You have to be very, very aware of making your gestures and your speech so much larger, and to be able to reach those 1,000 people all the way on the back of the hill. So it's a lot of fun. Jack Young was very adamant from the beginning of the process that he wanted the show to live in the music. The first line of the show is, "If music be the food of love, play on." And Twelfth Night doesn't really make sense unless it is carried along by the music.
So the concept of the play, it was set in the Napoleonic French Revolution era that inspired a lot of the costumes. And we were very unique in this production in that we did it during a pandemic, which presented a whole bunch of opportunities and a whole bunch of challenges that we had to just kind of face day to day.
Our play was set in the 70s. Most of the music was Lyle Lovett. Olivia was inspired by Stevie Nicks. So I had so many gorgeous, flowy, flowery, long, layered dresses. And the stage itself was set in a large, intricate garden.
I believe that the production was really trying to give the audience an opportunity to leave the cares and the worries of the world behind, even if it was just for 90 minutes, while they stepped into this very unique, eccentric world with all these kooky characters and went on their journeys with them. And there was a lot of music in the play as well. It was very folky, very acoustic, because ASC is totally unplugged in that space. So all of the music that was in the show was done by the actors, totally unplugged. And it was a very unique experience in that we had words like plague being mentioned in the show, and doing that show during a pandemic where the word plague kind of hits the ear in a certain way. It was an opportunity, I think, for the audience to be able to see themselves and to recognize, hey, we're not too far off from where Shakespeare was writing. He was on to something, but also to give them the opportunity to really tap into their childlike imaginations and go on this ride with us. I was very fortunate because I had a really cool challenge, actually. I worked with two different actors. At the beginning of each production, or each performance of our production, they flip a coin to determine which actor would go on as Viola and which actor would go on as Sebastian. And so depending on who would go on, whether it was actor one or actor two, I would get a very, very, very different experience with them in that scene that led up to this aria.
What launches the aria? Cesario has just left Olivia, and they have been talking about Orsino. Cesario is trying to win Olivia's love for Orsino, and Cesario / Viola says, "If I did love you in my master's flame, I would not understand this." And Olivia says offhand, "Why, what would you?" And Cesario launches into this beautiful monologue that is actually Viola talking about how she would love Orsino. And I think it is one of the most genuine and honest things that she's ever heard. And she falls in love with Cesario right then and there.
Sometimes, depending on which actor it was, I got someone who was a little more of a challenge, a little more tongue-in-cheek. The other actor was a little more goofy, kind of fumbly, kind of just nerded their way around the stage. And so there was a different experience with each actor, which would determine and inform how I would move forward with that aria, depending on my takeaway from each of them. For example, if actor A was really tongue-in-cheek, I would take a step back and, who the heck think you're talking to? But that's kind of hot because, I'm not used to people talking to me like that and kind of challenging me. And then on the other hand, if I had actor two who would come on and be kind of fumbly and goofy, it was more like, I don't get to see this all the time. And there's something very genuine and very unique about you. And I have never seen that in a person and related to someone, and someone hasn't made me laugh the way you're making me laugh and think about things, and I've only known you for a minute, so that was pretty cool because I never knew what I was gonna get either night, because even those actors, even though we had kind of set the scene, they would still change and throw different curveballs, and I would take that and then run. So it was really, really unique.
Then he has to leave, and the first thing that she said after that little monologue is she's stunned and she says, "What is your parentage?" And it's a really silly thing to say. She's embarrassed because that was the first thing that came out of her mouth. And she's trying to work out her feelings. And we get the "What is your parentage?" monologue.
And the thing that always pops out to me in that monologue is, how now, even so quickly may one catch the plague? Which is to say, my God, is this thing called love that everyone's been talking about? I've never experienced it. And it's summed up in such a concise and just on the nose kind of way that I think anybody, no matter who you are, if you've been in love, and everyone knows that kind of first moment when they kind of got dumbfounded by love and went, oh God, is this love? How now, even so quickly may one catch the plague? Within a minute's time, within one meeting of this person, I am already in love. That to me was the big deal discovery aha moment of that monologue of, all right, well, I guess I'm in love. All right.
Olivia discovers through her little speech there that she's caught the plague.
I think that Olivia realizes that she's in love. She is in love, neck deep in love, and will do whatever it takes to conquer that love, no matter how many no's she gets, no matter how many roundabout ways Cesario and the rest of the gang are kind of shifting her to go down another path. She's like, no, I'm going down this one because I'm committed to you.
She is falling in love with this person that has just suddenly arrived and really got straight to her heart, and she doesn't understand how quickly it happened. She's been very unimpressed by men thus far, and here comes this beautiful, heartfelt human that is everything that she didn't know that she wanted.
And I think that's the beauty of Shakespeare, is no matter whether it's love or, revenge or whatever it is, that we watch these characters take on this feeling with such wholeness, with a level of like depth and understanding that a lot of us are afraid to go down.
The decision that Olivia makes during this monologue is to go after him without anything holding her back, and she does that. She pursues him relentlessly. And just one of my favorite moments that I think can encapsulate her mindset is at some point later, she runs on in a full wedding dress. And the first thing out of her mouth is, "Blame not this haste of mine." Like, she is ready to go. She is a preteen with her first crush. She is a young woman that has fallen in love for the first time, and she is going after it just full force. And I think it's really fun and a beautiful thing to be reminded of as we get older and become a little more jaded, I guess.
And that's the beauty of Shakespeare, is that he shows us these emotions in their rarest and rawest and most genuine form. And Olivia is experiencing love for the first time. And because she is in love, she is going to do whatever it takes so that Sebastian ultimately, but Cesario, or the person that she's supposed to end up with, she will end up with them, because she has realized that even though she's experienced nothing but sorrow up to this point, that she's choosing happiness and she's choosing joy and she's choosing love. And that is what her new purpose in life is to seek out love. That's really, really awesome and a great lesson.
That feeling of seeing someone for the first time or meeting someone for the first time that can completely turn you upside down. What is that? And do you let go of it? She chases it.
What is your parentage? Stupid, stupid, stupid. Above my fortunes, yet my state is well. I am a gentleman. I'll be sworn thou art. Thy tongue, thy face, thy limbs, actions, and spirit do give thee fivefold blazon. Oh, not too fast. Soft. Ooh, soft. Unless the master were the man. How now? Even so quickly may one catch the plague? Methinks I feel this youth's perfections with an invisible and subtle stealth to creep in at mine eyes. Well, let it be.
What is your parentage? Above my fortunes, yet my state is well. I am a gentleman. I'll be sworn thou art. Thy tongue, thy face, thy limbs, actions, and spirit do give thee fivefold blazon. Not too fast, soft. Soft. Unless the master were the man. How now? Even so quickly may one catch the plague. Methinks I feel this youth's perfections with an invisible and subtle stealth to creep in at mine. Well, let it be. How now, Malvolia?
Meg, yes, it was so awesome to watch your rendition of Olivia's aria.
I just watched Constance's monologue, and I was actually fortunate enough to be able to watch it in the Blackfriars space. I saw it twice, and with two different actors. So both times were very different. Both times were very funny.
Right off the bat, what stood out to me was your stillness. I really appreciated that because I think it lends itself to something that is very human. We all do it. I know at least I do, and I feel like more people do it than not. When we're overwhelmed, whether something awesome just happened or something terrible just happened, a lot of times we have to take a step back. We have to physically go and look at things and kind of go back over what happened. And that's exactly what Olivia's doing. And I really appreciated your stillness in that.
Watching this video reminded me just how much something that I really love about Constance's acting is she responds with her entire body. You can hear what she's going through, and you can also see it from the tip of her pinky finger to the tip of her pinky toe. Everything responds, and you can really feel it, especially in this monologue, watching her fall in love. It's gorgeous work. I love it so much.
And I'm going to point out the sex joke that I loved that you leaned into. I'm stealing that. I'm stealing that, Meg. I think that's so cool. Because she does feel the youth's perfections in other places, and she chooses the word I.
I also realized watching it that I got a word wrong. I said I instead of eyes.
And I really heard the word I in a way I've never heard it in any rendition that I've ever seen of that monologue before. I've never heard an actor say I and lift it in a way where I went, oh, open the floodgates, shall we? And I thought that was awesome because, Shakespeare writes like that. And it's not just the men, it's not just dirty jokes for his male characters or whatever. It's for all characters, no matter their age, no matter their station, no matter, what. And it's so cool that we get to see this character who is oftentimes surrounded by so many people, and for the first time they're talking about something very intimate, and they're talking about it with the audience, and they're talking about sex, and they're talking about feelings and love, and ultimately all the ooey gooiness that happens when we just feel the youth's perfections.
And I do remember being corrected about that from Jack Young, and then it reverted over time. I don't know what happened, but that is why you should check your work with other actors.
And I am stealing that. So awesome job. And we're going to keep swapping. I think that's what we need to do. We need to just keep going back and forth.
Constance, I love your work.
I'll pick a monologue and do it, and then you can do it, and then you pick, and then I'll do it. And we'll do it for the rest of time because that was awesome.
I think we should hang out.